Hello.
I had to do a little bit of extra setup because why do you look like you're in space?
Yeah, I changed my back turn to one of the default ones because you can do this. And
What you can do? What I don't understand. You can just
oh,
move.
sorry. Like when you move your
You can list
camera,
left and
it's
right.
like a full 3D environment. So, like
Okay.
uh adds a little more variety than the flat. Because normally when I move around, it kind of just like has me like a floating body in a flat background. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna
So
just try this one time.
now you want to be more dynamic.
Yeah, I want to try to be more dynamic. I hope they open. This only works with the default backgrounds right now. I hope they open it up to like allowing people to just use their own 3D backgrounds because I could definitely scan one for this. This would be very easy.
That would be awesome. And I
It'd be
think
cool if I
like,
can even just scan my real life bedroom and people think I'm even more. I
isn't
don't
that
know.
the opposite though? Don't you want to escape
I know. I
reality
know.
a little bit?
I just would want to do it once, just be like, oh yeah, by the way, that's not my real bedroom. I just scanned it. That'd be fun.
Yeah, 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 yeah. How are you
I was.
anyway? You okay? You good?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been good. I've been playing around with the little drone thing, and that's been like actually way more fun than I thought it would be.
A little what?
Frankly.
Sorry, drone thing.
Yeah, yeah, like, there's a company called Anti-Gravity, who's, like, a subsidiary of the company Insta360, recently sent me a drone to play with because they saw I love doing Gaussian splatting, and they're like, "Hey, we're doing a whole partnership thing about Gaussian splatting, we saw you are obsessed with it, do you wanna try it out?" And I just, like, basically finished my first one literally this morning, and it was so cool.
So you fly a drone and it captures the Gaussian splat
So
with the drone.
so the drone the interesting thing about the drone is it's a 360 camera drone, and you have to pilot it with goggles on. It has its own, like, pair of VR goggles as
So
well.
does it look like VR when you're in there, or is it 3D, or is it like?
It's
Do you know
not
what I mean?
it's well, you can actually like, you move your head around, and it will constantly update the view, like, in full 60 up space,
So the
basically.
drone has a 360 camera on it. Right,
Yeah,
okay.
it's not like it's not really 3D, it's kind of a flat image because it's only, like, 1 camera up top, 1 camera on bottom. So
Mm.
it's not like giving too much depth data, but it's still cool to be able to just like move your head around. And also comes with a controller that is, it's a 3D controller. And most drones, it's like a game controller usually. Like you have two joysticks. One is going up and down. One is going left and right and like forward, backward. But with this drone, because it's using a headset, the controller is like literally wherever your head is pointing and wherever your controller is pointing. It'll always just go in that direction. So it's actually like way more.
So it's like a head-based drone
Yeah,
control.
it's like literally like it's like if you were playing a VR game and you had your locomotion settings all set to where your head was facing, that's where the drone goes. And it's actually really intuitive. Like I was very surprised how yeah, intuitive. But you have to take that so, again, it captures 360 camera data. And why that's useful for Gaussian splatting, because normally with Gaussian splatting, as an example, if you use your phone, you gotta literally get every angle right to like, and you have to do it up, down, left, right, blah 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 blah. But 360 camera, you can just take the whole sphere that's it's seeing almost every view, especially when you're going like in, let's say, a straight line like down the street. It's capturing all the buildings, all the street, all the sky, and you can actually split that 360 camera view into like multiple standard views and feed those individual pictures per frame into the Gaussian splatting engine to basically, it's just like it just simplifies the entire process for people.
So what's the end goal of this, I guess, product? Like, what's it for?
The end goal is really just for people who already like doing drone stuff. The Gaussian splatting is just all software based. Here's how I feel. I never liked 360 video. I always thought 360 video was kind of gimmicky and kind of lame because no matter what, you always have to have a cameraman. And if you're really doing 360 video, there's very few situations where 360 video can be enticing for a person. Because most people only can focus on one thing, and if you're making like an artistic performance or doing anything interesting or recording something interesting, it's usually just one view. Whereas 360 video, it's a lot of data. So usually when you upload to YouTube or something, dude, I did 360 video stuff back in like 2017. I was experimenting on like a custom 360 rig, and it was just, even with that, it was just like by the time the finished product came out, It was just gimmicky, but 360 video is kind of coming back again because
Yeah.
you have companies like DJI, like who's recently gotten really back into it, who realize we can use AI software to basically, if you just are always capturing something, and you're going like on a trip or you're doing like action camera stuff, like you're surfing or going on a boat or biking or whatever, then the AI can kind of figure out the most interesting moments of that action clip, and then they like make it into like a cool design, and then also again the Gaussian splatting on top of it. So it's really just like if you're already wanting to do drone stuff or maybe action camera stuff, I think the 360 stuff has actually gotten pretty good, even for just the basic action camera droney stuff,
Makes
which
me
is
wonder where GoPro is, because they were kind of like the leaders of the action cam stuff, and now, like, so as someone who's tried to do like 360 and VR videos, I guess, or 180 3D videos. In the past, back when you was uploading, I think it was just a checkbox for the metadata. You just clicked a box and it told YouTube this is a 3D video. But now you've got to inject the correct metadata. There's all sorts of other things that you have to do, which is really annoying. But by what you're telling me, that would be really cool if across the board everyone is getting into looking at 3D and VR. Because personally, I think watching a 3D video is a great way to sell a VR game.
Oh, I
Personally.
think so, for sure. I think we talked about this before on a previous episode. It's not even just metadata, it's also like the file format because there's been
Mm.
many 3D file formats for video
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
past, and everyone's kind of like starting to translate to the one that Apple kind of is pushing for. YouTube even says they support that, which it's called MVHEVC. YouTube says they support it, but every time I've uploaded a video in that format, it doesn't work
Yeah,
right.
I
It doesn't
know,
work
dude.
right. It makes me so mad. Like I just went to a public park and just recorded and turned in Splat. It's kind of it looks like I just record my own Google Earth like view of like an entire area, and it's
Wow.
not like I'm doing professional equipment or anything. That's why I think it's actually just getting crazy how accessible a lot of this stuff is. Maybe not for like, like the mass consumer, but like hobbyists for sure. Like a lot of hobbyist people can just do
The mass
crazy
consumer,
stuff.
though, will be the consumer, not necessarily the
Yeah.
creator.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be awesome. Especially, I mean, there's many things in the world you think you've seen on YouTube and you haven't visited in person that you'll soon feel like you're seeing it in person. Like, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I got sent the drone because I was obsessing over splats in my last YouTube video back in like January. I was like, this technology is getting crazy, and they saw that. And then when I post this splat I took with my drone, I kind of like start getting other people saying, "Hey, check out the thing I'm working on." And it's actually related to the Gracia. I believe you pronounce it Gracia, but they're taking like splats of people, but like they're doing video splats. So it's like you can literally have someone playing a guitar, and like you have the full 3D Gaussian splat in your room if you're
Oh,
wearing a
yeah.
headset,
Yep.
right? I want to go to a capture place and like see what that's like. And I had someone reach a friend of me, a friend of I think probably you know them too, Elnar. They reached out to me
Yeah.
because they're doing that. Yeah, they're doing that, and they're like, "Hey, this is our rig." And what they do, it's crazy. The rig, they have a bunch of iPhone, like the latest iPhone Pros, like a bunch of them, and like a array around a person, because the new iPhones they have a feature called Gen Lock, which is very useful for this use case because what you can do with that is as soon as you click record on one of the phones, they'll all record and sync up perfectly, which is very
Wow.
valuable for this. And they're like, yeah, we're using that for like movies are using us, like movie studios and stuff like that. They should really partner with VR creators because even if it's just like a small clip of like an introduction of like game of you or me and just like saying, "Hey, welcome to my channel," and people can like view a live Gaussian in their headset of that. That would be so freaking cool. But
Yeah, there's so many times I thought, dude, I'd love to show some games in 3D. I think it'd be so good. Yeah, Elnar's a fantastic guy. Bless him. I met him years ago when he was still trying to get work and stuff, and
yeah,
now he's just well, he's doing incredibly well.
he's
Um,
doing super well. Yeah,
yeah,
he was like, "Come by next time you're in LA." I'm like, "Oh, I'm in LA this week." He's like, "No, I'll be in New York doing a movie." I'm like, "Ah, yeah, he's
that's
doing super well."
crazy. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy how far he's come. But I guess my original question I'll have to come back to, or now we can go back to. How are
yeah.
you? Are you all right? You all good? I love it. Your brain is like I think you're I don't know if you're better or worse than me. I can tell that your brain you should have like 4 mouths And,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, there's, like, so
That's also
much.
why I should bring up the reason why we haven't been on time with this episode is because of me. It's all me. And it's my brain works like this as well, not just for like talking, but also for like what I want to be doing like at that moment. So I like tend to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
get very preoccupied in something and then I like
It's all
hyper
good.
fixated. I get super hyper fixated. Like once I have my head on something, I'm like in the zone and like I don't want to even go on social media to reply to
That's
people.
good, though.
But
That's what it's all about, man. Ignoring the noise is how you make progress.
yeah,
So,
you kind of have to, especially these days. Yeah.
there's a lot of noise. There is a lot of noise. So, yeah, we got some, welcome everyone to the show. We have some topics to cover. I wanted to go over the VR game showcase. Brad even brought up a game
Yeah.
from which was interesting. Meta's DMCA takedown of one of the websites that was doing games. I'm assuming that's so easy because of APKs and stuff, but we'll go into that.
Yeah.
Ubisoft shutting down, I think it was Red Storm was the name of the studio, and a few other things, mostly about Meta actually, about Boz and Horizon, and then a few other bits. But yeah, man, I guess it's good to actually just quickly go straight into the VR game showcase.
Yeah,
I
sure.
thought it was I thought it was pretty awesome actually. There was a lot of stuff in there that I don't think is for my age range,
Right.
as there normally is, because a lot of
Yeah.
it's like meta stuff. But yeah, for me, like Payday, VR, Aces High, like that's the game you mentioned. I think that looks awesome coming from Fast Travel.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a really like I don't know, I tried the PC VR version because I know they ported it years ago, but it was really janky. I didn't want to play too much of that. I think it's
Yeah,
pretty cool that that's coming like to native VR. The reason why I brought it up to you is it's gonna be like one of the first brand new games that will just launch day one standalone on the Steam frame. So that's pretty freaking cool. And so
yeah,
not only will you, if you buy it on Steam, it's kinda like the old Meta cross-buy that they used to do quite often, where if you bought it once, it would be there on the PC store. You can play the PC version, or you can play the standalone APK version. So that's why
yeah.
I thought was cool as well. But,
That is cool. And I'm really
yeah.
happy for Fast Travel, man. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think they've had a bit of bad luck with a lot of their releases, and VR in general, man. We don't know the gaming in general is in
Gaming
a
in
weird
general,
place.
yeah.
Not just VR, but I think because VR is a niche, it seems to look like it's suffering even more. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's quite funny. The PCVR enthusiasts were literally angry. They were like, "We've already got Payday in VR." I'm like, "Yeah, but it plays like shit."
Yeah, it
You
doesn't
know,
play well.
I remember I think I downloaded like a month ago. I'm lying, about a year ago or something. I downloaded it, and I wanted to check out because someone said there's like you can update the controls
Mm.
and add different bindings and stuff. It was just painful. I didn't really enjoy it. Maybe it was made better for like Vive ones or something, or if you're just happy
It
controlling a
it's
game
it's such
weird.
an old port at this
Yeah,
point that, like,
yeah,
that kinda stuff just gets dilapidated pretty easily. But even back when like I said, when I probably tried it, like, one of the first weeks it came out, and even back then, it was pretty rough back then too, so I don't know.
yeah, yeah. There was also. Have you tried Bootstrap Island yet? That is one VR game I
I have
really want you to try.
not. I looked into it a lot. It seems to be doing super well. Like, it's got a ton of great views.
Yeah, for
I
VR,
suck
it's
at
doing really
survival
well.
games, so I suck at those, but it looks
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
It's really good, man. It's really immersive. So many great ways of just feeling like interactions. I love it. I think it's so special. And the more you play it, the more things you learn. Then we got Flat Out 4, VR Total
That looks
Insanity.
pretty cool, actually. That one actually piqued my interest as well. I didn't bring it up with you, but that one looks we don't have anything like that in VR yet that I can think
Exactly,
of.
man. And it is PC VR only. And I know that some people were a bit disappointed with that. But to me, if it does well on PC, I think that's the right move sometimes. I think historically, some developers have launched on all three systems, and it ends up them just like, dude, we've got issues everywhere.
Yeah.
Obviously they should launch with no issues, but
Yeah.
I think that tends to happen a lot in VR. I think if you can launch on PC, get that one as best you can, and then move on to another system. I think that gives the developer a better name as well.
And just from what I saw, it seems to be like very destruction based, and I feel like I
Yeah,
mean, reality check. The Sailor chips have come a long way, but when it comes to destruction stuff and like pieces falling off vehicles and stuff like that, it's gonna those mobile chips are still gonna struggle with stuff like that. So I think
yeah,
it's the right choice
yeah. I
overall.
mean, I'm not sure if they've got it lined up. I'm assuming it could easily come to PSVR 2, but I don't know about Quest. And recently, man, some games I've played, like Skir VR, is it Made of Skir VR? Made of Skir? Yeah, Made of Skir VR. That was absolutely terrible. The boys, unfortunately, like they've really tried to make a good game, but
Mhm.
very repetitious, poor performance, really leaned
Who made
into
The Boys, by the way? I didn't catch
Arvor,
that.
pixel ripped,
Okay. Okay, got
you
it.
know, even though I don't think
Yeah,
Anna's directly involved with this project,
right.
you know, but yeah, it's a shame because it's quite a cool game, but it's definitely not, I guess, the sort of game I was expecting. It does lean into The Boys really well. There's loads of swearing, loads of like weird
Right.
moments, like this old grandpa right in the beginning of the game just has like this orgasm, and his orgasm is lasers coming out of his penis. And he just, I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And yeah, it's full of that weird stuff. But unfortunately, yeah, when all that is taken away, you're just wandering around corridors in a pretty bad performing
Mhm.
game. But still, I mean, hopefully they can fix it over time. Forefront, have you played Forefront?
I've not, but that's a game where sorry. I've not played it, but that is a game where people in my Discord who are not even, I would say, PCVR gamers, they're like me, right? Like we like the technology of headsets, but we don't like do gaming too much. But that is
Yeah.
the game that I see more and more people telling each other, "This is awesome. You should play it." Sort of thing.
Yeah, I think they can see the vision. You know, they
Yeah.
can see where it's going to go and how much work they're putting into it. So that's going into a 1.0. I can't remember the date. I don't know what date they said. But for me personally, I'm very excited to see the like PCVR version where they're going to be adding like real time lighting, I think it was. And maybe
My
some
plan for
shadows and
like
stuff.
a lot of these games, I keep disappointing you, but I've kind of been very stubborn because like I have like a backlog of some of these really like people are saying really good VR games, especially the past year. But like I don't want to play them till Steam Frame comes out because then
Yeah.
I'll have like that sensation a little bit of like imagine someone who's been out of VR for a while, and are coming back to it with Steam Frame and they're trying out new games. I want to have that kind of perspective as
But
well.
you're just going to play Half-Life Alex first. That's all anyone's. If they've got a PC, tell me, dude. Come
Yeah,
on.
I'll
I
play
mean,
that first, but I
yeah.
still I don't know. I feel like I just want to play multiple games on Steam Frame because that is a gaming focused device, and that'll be like the first gaming focused headset that
I
I
just can't wait
check
for the
out.
comfort, man. I can't
Yeah,
wait to put a headset on and not want to take it off after a while.
yeah,
That's what I'm really excited for. And I hope the like the standard like headband and stuff is comfortable enough because I had like an overhead strap version.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think you can buy like an accessory kit with it. I think that's what's going to happen. And also, I helped launch a game I've been helping make, which was Exoshock.
Crap.
If you ever want to play it, let me know. It's very intense. I think you'd love it because you can play it in like 10-minute stints and just have a really over the top immersive action experience. I actually love it for that. But yeah, that's like a founder's edition, so it's pre-early access. And yeah, and Forefront is eventually coming to PSVR 2. So, and then we've got Microsoft Flight Simulator as well coming to PSVR
Yeah.
2. And apparently that is supposed to be very good. They've got some sort of new technology going into that to instead of just reprojection, they're doing like this other thing. I can't remember what it's called. It's not frame sync because that's meta. There was something else. I did talk about it in last week's roundup video for April. But either way, I'm hoping that's really good. That's coming in April 5th. So yeah, like it's this year's going really quick.
Yeah, yeah, we're already 1/4 done with the year. That's
How the
crazy.
hell? I just can't believe it.
I
But
don't
when did
know.
we start this podcast? Was it just after
I think it was
Christmas?
like
Am I
literally
making out?
I know. I think it was like real January. So
Wow, crazy. And we've only done 5 episodes.
hey, that's fine. You know what? I've been seeing a lot of VR YouTubers announcing that they're done with VR recently again.
No,
So
really? Who? Oh, you don't have to say
I
names,
don't
but
want to say, but you know, I understand it's rough out there. But
why are they done with it though? What's the
I
problem?
wouldn't say they're announcing they're done with it, but they just want to expand their horizons a bit because
Into what? Into another hobby or?
just they just want to do more with their channel than VR. They feel trapped, which I don't know. I always there's still so much like not even just I don't want to rant, but you know I think there's a lot going on still in XR. It just feels weird. Maybe if you're only in gaming, you feel trapped some ways, but I mean even you seem to be quite well off with all the stuff that's going on in
Well
gaming.
off.
So okay, that's not what I
Well
mean, but
off.
like
Yeah, I
I
love it,
feel
yeah.
like there
I'm doing
is
okay. I'm doing okay, yeah.
like you said, if I compared like maybe to last year or like 2 years ago, a lot of the stuff that was coming out was just really bad. But a lot of the stuff seems pretty good, at least in comparison.
2024 was a great year. Like that was like I would say the run up we had to that, that was awesome. And
Yeah,
then 2025, I'm sure good games come out. You know, I survived that year.
yeah.
And then now, like, it's weird. Like to get to this point, for the second time this year, I've hit 1 million views over 28 days.
Wow,
And I'm like, that is amazing.
that's
I
actually
wish
wow, that's crazy.
I'm really pleased. I'm just like, I just wish ad revenue paid good money. It's
Yeah,
so annoying. You're like, when I told one of my friends like, yeah, 1 million views, and he's like, dude, what are you gonna do with that money? And I'm like,
yeah,
I'm gonna I'm gonna pay my bills.
yeah.
Just gonna pay my bills, nothing else.
I'm even seeing like, Linus Tech Tips on his podcast. They're even like talking about the problems with YouTube recently. And when a huge channel like that is even complaining, who has been
Probably
his
copyright, probably
not even
monet
copyright, they're just saying like they're losing their way. And I think a lot of it is them complaining about long form content specifically seems to be on the back burner compared to shorts. They seem to like
yeah.
really shove shorts in people's faces more if they can.
Not just that as well, and Linus knows this. I know he never watches, but he knows, like, you kinda make videos almost now for a short audience.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
or you should be,
Yeah.
yeah? So,
Yeah.
like, for example, I know that if I wanna make a really big video, I should try and make those first 30 seconds the best 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I just still do what I wanna do, you know? I make shorts now and again now, but that's only really to bring people to the long form video.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, it's changing, and then literally, like, the other day, I think the CEO mentioned that now there's, like, a shopping YouTube shopping. I didn't even know that existed.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
there's YouTube shopping, which is why they want me to add my channel to, like, this brand thing, so people can discover me, and then I guess like, because 'cause I've been
Yeah.
on TikTok, you get regular offers, like, "Do you wanna sell this Game Boy copy thing?" and stuff like that. So I'm assuming YouTube trying to do that, and now they're adding, like, their own new currency, which is, like, jewels or diamonds to gift streamers, just stuff like that, man. You're like, "Dude,
You're just
I've"
bombarded with this stuff.
it's such a shame. It's like, "Come on, man, you just need to just keep
Yeah.
doing what you're doing and try and make it as frictionless as possible." And then, also I've seen people, like, saying they're getting triple ads. You know, like ads
Yeah.
a lot of people don't wanna pay premium, and I get that. I don't pay premium, which someone was really surprised about, I told the other day. They're like, "You're a YouTuber though." And I'm like, actually, someone said, "Don't you get it for free?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, mate, no." But yeah, there was some ads recently. Everyone's just trying to make more money.
Yeah, of
Everyone's
course,
just trying to make
yeah.
Amazon are, like, cutting down their streaming quality now from 4K to 1080p if you don't pay for the full Prime thing.
Mhm.
Um, and Netflix are putting their money up. PlayStations are going up in price.
Yeah, that one was a crazy one.
People are so kicking off about that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. How much is a PS5 Pro now? Is it $900?
$900, and that's without the disc tray.
No way!
Yeah, that's
Is
the
it?
digital version. Yeah, that's yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what people were also going crazy about.
Oh my god, I didn't know that. I thought that was the full thing.
No. Yeah, so that's I don't know how much probably like another $50 or something, but
I mean, it does make me wonder if we're gonna be quite off with our, like, our thing of Steam Frames pricing. And that $700
yeah.
mark, I think's gone.
Yeah, it's probably gone, but at this point, no.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
They
what
did
it's
they
gonna
did
be.
still I think someone said at GDC they did still say they'll be under index full kit price, but
Which is 1,000?
yeah, 1,000, yeah, so it's
So much money though, isn't it? Like, when you think about it, it's
you
$1,000.
say that, but everyone's perceptions just changed yesterday of what how much a console costs, so maybe
That's true, man. That's true. Even video games, like even I wanted to check out this game, Screamer. I was really
Mhm,
interested in it, and it's $60, and I'm not, or £60, which is like $70. And I'm not saying like it's not worth it, but at the
yeah,
moment, that's put me in the category of I've got to wait. Like I can't really
right, yeah.
justify spending that money on it at the moment with everything else I'm doing. So yeah, it's interesting. I think yeah, without
How are
getting too
companies
political.
expecting us to pay for it's getting
Yeah.
bad, maybe I just wanna, like, real quick, like, segue into another topic we had because,
Let's go.
um, Meta laid off more people. More good news. Yay.
This is a
Uh,
positive podcast.
I, I mean, I'm sorry. It just like this is
How
a
many
lot of
now? Is it 1,500 again?
it's 700 this time. So, but
How do
yeah.
you think
So
they do that? Do you think it's a roll of the dice, or do you think like
who knows? I don't know. And the reasons why they said it, this was reported by New York Times, and the information, they both kind of had different parts to say about it, but a lot of it was again Reality Labs, their VR stuff, especially.
what they got hit the most?
A lot of them got hit the most, yeah. But also not just them, it was also like some recruiting, sales, and Facebook stuff as well. So it was all of it. It's all again because they are refocusing more on AI, and we have Zuckerberg literally saying that because of AI, we have one person able to do the jobs of what a whole team used to do and all that stuff. So yeah, and this was also right after they like announced a huge stock package for their executives if they meet like a certain, I guess, award target.
Performance kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, performance
Yeah.
target. So this is like all these people. I don't know. I'm being very nice as much as I can, but this is
You don't need to be nice, dude. End of the day, like I think the reason this will go under the radar on the VR gaming side of VR news and stuff is
right.
that what happened before involved those game closures, studio
Yeah,
closures, as this time it's like more, I guess, I mean, it's directly hitting us, but
yeah,
VR in general, but people won't really talk about it because they're like, oh, there's no games involved. But
right. Yeah.
it's scary to think like they could just simply just do a hard pivot on VR. Like
Oh
you
yeah.
just never know.
You never know. Yeah. That's
You
why
never know.
I bring this up. People always say you're negative, but it's like we don't know if there's another quest coming. They
It's not negative. It's not negative to possibly see different possibilities. I don't see why
yeah,
that's negative.
no, it's true. It's just reality. Oh, another thing actually, I don't know if I brought this up with you, but another thing is they didn't move Andrew Bosworth, but they basically put him in charge of making sure that the entire company starts using AI more. So I don't know if he can do the CTO of Reality Labs and this, but it's just that whole company's very focused on AI
What's
right
he going to
now.
do? Just walk up behind them while they're working and go, "Are you using AI
You,
today?"
you know how crazy this? This was I forget who reported this. This was like a few weeks ago, but they don't even want their coders to type in direct code. They want their coders to prompt every single code that they write. So what that means is,
AI's learning their prompts and learning their coding.
yeah, that's
They're
how
putting
I see
themselves
it.
out the job.
They're exactly that's how I see it. Yeah, yeah. You don't force coders to do that unless you have an ulterior motive, is the way I see it. Because that's just you don't want AI doing all that for you. That's why you hire coders. They're good at doing that. But oh,
Isn't it weird? I mean, because end of the day, if people are so out the job, then no one's got any money to buy the
that's what
products
I
they're
yeah
trying to
yeah.
make.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, how
How
are
does
all
that
these
cycle
companies?
work?
I don't know.
We
It's-
just released some glasses. All right, yeah, hardly anyone made them, so no one's got any money
Our
to buy them.
executives will be able to
Brilliant.
buy them, but no one else in the world will.
Yeah, it's that's really bizarre. And also then we're just losing that human touch, that artistry. And I like the trend of like memes of where if it's people talk about AI slop and people get annoyed about
Yeah,
AI slop. People who like AI get annoyed about the word slop because there is without a doubt good things to it, like, or good
yeah,
features
for
to
sure.
it and good uses. Like you was talking about your Gaussian splats, how they're going to use AI to help the process. I get that stuff, but literally training it to replace people or getting people to
Yeah,
train it to replace themselves is absolutely mental.
it's
It's just
crazy.
mental.
Yeah, and there's one thing I've been like I think we talked about before, but I have like a local LLM I have here, and I use it mostly for coding like small XR experiments. Like literally, I recently bought a little like indoor playset for my daughter to like kind of climb on, and like a little slide or whatever. I was like, I could literally ask the AI to make like a little AR thing where I can like have like little trigger volumes, so that when I press a real thing on the playset, I can have like fireworks shoot off and stuff like that. And I can
That's
just tell the
cool.
AI to just make a little small crappy little vibe coded thing, and like it happens. So like small stuff like that where like it does give like powers to individuals that either could never do something like that or like have
Yeah.
like I guess, prototype experiments. I don't think it's good for building full software products, but like even just like in XR, especially where there's just so the barrier to entry of like developing ideas and testing stuff is so high that it actually does benefit us for I think in that way. But yeah, like the whole thing, these companies are thinking of replacing people with it. It's just that's it's man, it's like when a video game technology comes out, like in the early 2000s, Bloom was like the new thing. Like, oh, we gotta add Bloom to all of our games, and if you go to every game back then, it looks so ugly now because they're just bombarded with Bloom
Yeah.
art effects. That's just always a recurring technology. Like when there's a new technology, people just cannot pace themselves with it. They just go insane. I say as I'm wearing a headset all day, doing the spatial computing stuff. But
Yeah, you
yeah,
literally are living in the in I don't wanna call it the metaverse. Are we still calling this the metaverse? I don't know. Is that
I
still a
don't think
term?
anyone wants to call it that anymore. Even the Metaverse writer, did you see that?
No!
Okay.
So what's happening with the man who invented the
None of this was
metaverse?
written down in our notes, but I knew this would happen.
What do you mean? It was written
The
whatever.
guy who wrote a Snow Crash, Stephenson or whatever, who basically coined the metaverse and everything. He basically literally wrote a blog post last week, kind of saying how he doesn't think the metaverse are ever going to happen. That people are going to put on like if you asked him 10 years ago, he would have said, "Yeah, our phones are going to be replaced with headsets and glasses or whatever." But he basically denounced all that this week and said, "Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I also think it's very creepy that people are wearing glasses with cameras and doing all that stuff." He's basically like not so much a futurist in the AR VR stuff anymore.
He's had like a midlife tech crisis kind of thing.
That's what it felt like to me. I kind of did want to say "Okay, boomer" a little bit
Yeah.
to some of the article, but I
I'm a
I,
bit
I
like that. I think my kids see me like that because when I see them just constantly on social media,
yeah.
it's very hypocritical. Or it could be, they're not like that, but it could be for me to say, stop looking at your phone. And they'll be like, dude, like that's literally what you do. You literally create the stuff that people are watching on phones and TVs and stuff. But like, I think it matters that what you're making has some sort of value because there's, if you, when you scroll, Facebook's probably the worst thing for that. There is AI, absolutely impossible rubbish on there, and you see these comments, and these people just don't even know what's real. They just can't figure out.
Yeah.
They don't know the difference, you know?
They're actually boomers. Like
Yeah,
it's
they're full
yeah,
boomers.
they don't know, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't. But there's all sorts of laws coming in for kids anyway. Like I think Australia have banned social media apps, haven't they, for people under
It's
16? And
yeah, there's that's like the big trend now is
mm,
forcing it's even getting to the point where they're forcing operating systems in various countries to like have a actual age verification once you are on the device so they can't access variety of things. But yeah,
yeah,
it does seem to be leaning more toward that. And Facebook's actually getting in a lot of trouble in America at least. A few states have been suing them and winning about how they purposely made children addicted to social media in all the negative ways, and they're having to do
Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah, this is Facebook. It's
Do
literally happened this week.
kids don't even use Facebook?
A lot of these lawsuits were started 10
Like
years ago.
it's a
So
boo I was gonna say, man, like, Facebook's the boomer platform, like, no one
yeah,
cares
but
about that.
also Instagram. Instagram is also that's
That's true.
probably more
It's Meta, yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, but
yeah.
yeah, they're starting to pay out. I think the most recent one, I want to say it was Arizona, I might be wrong, but it was like almost 400 million lawsuit.
Wow. Are
Yeah,
kids seeing this stuff
yeah.
and kind of replicating it? I don't even know what they're looking at, man.
The only time they replicate is when they want to get famous. That's probably the
Oh,
more
like a trend.
yeah, like they want to be the next. It's like how kids used to. This is a real statistic. Kids used to be the top dream job was to be an astronaut, right? Back in the 80s, 90s, or whatever. Now the top dream job is to be
Wow.
a YouTuber. Like actually,
I mean, it's a lot lower bar, fair play to them.
exactly.
I never wanted to be an astronaut, man. I was like, I know my limits. That
But
was
that's
never a
yeah.
yeah.
It's there is a weird. I don't know. There's a
That
weird.
is a good question. What did you wanna be when you were a kid? Like,
Oh,
did
I
you
wanted to
have any
be an animator, actually, like cartoonist. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. What do you mean? So what inspired you? Was it like Disney? Was it
It
anime? Was
was
it
Disney. Yeah, being living near Disney my whole life, seeing all the cartoons plastered around everywhere in ads. It's just
That's
fun.
cool. That is cool. I was very lucky. I met an animator called Volta Base, and he made my channel intro, which I don't use hardly because of retention purposes. But yeah, like I spent a lot of money on it, and he did an amazing job on it, and it was just brilliant because I've even got all like the black and white like
Wow.
drawings of it and stuff.
Like the cells or whatever.
Yeah, and we kind of made it together, you know, because I wanted it to be about a game called Another World. I don't know if you remember Another World or Flashback. They might be a bit before your time. I don't
I don't
know,
remember
but
that one.
anyway, so yeah, I kind of went down that route and stuff, and he went above and beyond, and I thought it was amazing. I personally wanted to be a fireman. That's pretty much all I ever wanted to do. I couldn't think of anything else that I don't know why that in particular, and it never happened because just I don't know. When I grew up, everyone was like, "Dude, you got to learn about computers. Computers are the future." So I went to college and I was typing and I was doing, and it never clicked, man. It never clicked. I didn't like being indoors, which is ironic now because I'm always indoors. But yeah, at the time, yeah, I think that's all I ever wanted to do. So going back to Meta again, we wanted to talk about the DMCA
Oh, yeah, yeah.
takedown of this website. I'm sure though there's more websites doing this.
Oh, there's tons, but this was like the most. This wasn't just a website. They also had like a whole software built on like like LimeWire. Like you'd have a
I was gonna say
easy.
LimeWire, man. I was gonna say LimeWire.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
basically LimeWire, but for downloading pirated
So is it
cracked.
there was the software like, SideQuest, for example, kind
Yeah,
of
it was
thing?
basically it was like side quests, except it had
Yeah.
all the the meta games that you would pay for normally, and you just click one button, and
So
it
if
would.
you have a Meta account though, don't they isn't
I
there
guess when
because
it's side loaded. So that's one thing I heard that Meta is actually surprisingly very behind on is they have no very good verification of whether you bought something or not.
yeah, because a lot of games have online features. Like, if you didn't have an online feature because I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
yeah, I think there was a developer, he said, like, they'd only sold so many versions, and yet they had all these players, and they're like, "How is that possible?" And obviously they know it's from this.
No.
So what happened? Like, they just because I remember do you remember a website called Pirate Bay?
Yeah, yeah.
I remember Pirate Bay, man. I was someone who liked Pirate Bay, um, and that got taken down. Is this kind of like that for the VR gaming thing?
Yeah, it practically is. And the funny thing is they didn't DMCA them for necessarily the whole platform. They DMCA'd them on
For
the
the
basis
software?
that they served Beat Saber in particular. And Beat Saber is a meta title, so they basically use that to take them down, which is funny. You think they would have like the connotations to be able to take down the platform for it being a pirating platform, but no.
So it still exists?
No, it's gone. Because just having that was enough to like kind of force them out of the whole
But what's
entire
stopping them?
thing.
What's stopping them just doing another one? Like the technology is already there. Like what's
There's probably nothing stopping them and just probably giving that source code to another person in a different country that probably Meta wouldn't be able to find easily
yeah?
to do it. And there's probably like you said, there probably are other pirating stuff. And I kind of I always liked there's a famous like quote from Gabe Newell years back when he was asked about piracy. Basically, Gabe says we don't worry about piracy. That's like way low on the list of things to worry about because we think if we have a good enough service for our customers, people won't want to jump through all the hoops. And it's even more true for the Quest because these people had to literally do, even though it was like a one click thing on the PC, they still had to connect their Quest to it and do all that to load the pirated software to their Quest. So, frankly, I think if the Meta Quest store was for whatever reason better for a lot of these people. Of course, there's always a subset of users who will pirate things anyway, especially when you do have kids. I think it's not stupid to say that most kids will just pirate stuff a lot because they just don't have money.
Yeah, their
It's kind
parents are
of
like, "We're not buying this." Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I think that's always going to be a thing. Yeah, for I think adults that do have money, if you have a good enough service, a lot of people will not usually jump through hoops if
Do you know
they
what I
don't have
found?
to.
I'll hold my hands up, and this is probably after the Xbox kind of scene had died anyway. But I used to do it with Xbox games, the original Xbox. And I always found that if I had an illegal copy of a game, I didn't necessarily play it a lot. Like I
Right.
didn't really put time into it that I could have.
All right.
I don't know if that makes sense. It's kind because I think when you make a purchase, you kind of do a little bit of research about it. You kind of watch trailers, you kind of learn a bit about the development, you kind of like maybe watch reviews, and that's what helps you go, right, I'm going to spend my money on this, and you're kind of all in, you know. As when you do a pirate. of a game or something, you just kind of like turn it on and go, eh, oh well, yeah, on to the next 50 games I've got to try for free. Um, so yeah, there's that kind of thing. I think it does ruin gaming in a lot of ways. But yeah, talking about gaming again, going on to the Ubisoft VR. So Red Storm,
Yeah.
did you ever play their games I think I found they made was Werewolves Within, Star Trek Bridge Crew, and Assassin's Creed. Now, personally, all of these games I actually really like. Um, Werewolves Within, as far as I know, had a real like cult online thing. Did you ever play Werewolves Within?
I played it probably like the first year it came out. I have very little memory of it at this
Yeah.
point.
Was it like this is my memory of it, right? Because I think it was Petrifying Pumpkins. He really talked me into playing it because him and his channel used to do it a lot. You basically sit around a campfire and I think you lie to each other about
Yeah.
stuff of who the werewolf is. I think that's the premise.
Yeah, it
That's
was.
about it. Yeah. And they loved it. They absolutely loved it. They thought it was a great game. And then Starship Bridge Crew is probably my all-time close to Half-Life Alex, probably more than Half-Life Alex actually. It's probably my most played VR game, Starship Bridge Crew. Absolutely love that, and I think it did things that we still don't necessarily get a lot in VR, where like there's 4 people having to work together to complete a mission. But I mean, maybe it's because I really like Star Trek in general that it really worked. So that was really cool. And then Assassin's Creed. So I guess it was only a matter of time till these guys went. But yeah, again, it just seems to be across the board, things are just going down. Yeah,
I like I said, gaming especially is just it's not even just VR at this point. You just hear every studio in gaming is just announcing Epic Games. You hear about that one.
no,
Epic Games laid off like I think 1,000 people.
wow.
Yeah, that was this past week. It was that was a big one.
I saw a comment from I think it's John Romero from id Software. He
Yeah,
was like talking about how he lived through the crash in the 80s, and he actually thinks this is going to be worse what we're
yeah.
heading into. Which is so weird because now you've got multiple platforms, multiple ways of accessing games, and arguably some developers see major success. But I think a lot of these games are games that people don't necessarily think are going to be major successes. They like come out of nowhere and they're found on by YouTubers and things like that. I'm not saying I do, but like big channels that really can change the trajectory of a game's discovery. Um, and then suddenly, yeah, like these games just rocket, and they're not expensive because they're indie games, so lots of people buy them. That's another thing talking about pirated software. If a game's not that expensive anyway, some people genuinely want to support a developer. You know,
It feels easier for people to support a small team of people than like a giant corporations. There's not that
feels more
connection.
personal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I guess talking about the metaverse, there was that moment when Boz, or I don't know if Boz announced it or someone announced it, that Horizon was like VR was gone
Yeah.
and it was going to be strictly down to like the mobile Horizon app, which I don't really understand because why would you have the Meta Horizon app if you don't have a Quest anyway? Never really understood that side of it. But apparently, because of backlash, he then said, "No, it's fine. Actually, it's going to stay as it is. It's not. I don't think it's ever going to get any more updates. I don't think they're going to put any more money into it, but it's going to remain as it is on online."
At least as far as I know, because they had two engines. They were a lot of the older stuff, the game modes were built on Unity before, but then they started transitioning it to a custom Horizon engine, which is what the Gaussian Splat thing, the hyperscapes, whenever you visit it with friends,
Man, yeah, yeah.
that was built in the Horizon engine. So stuff like that is gone. Some of the old Unity, and it's only game modes as far as I know. They're only keeping like some of the old game modes, but yeah,
There'll be no more like concerts and things like that.
no. But to be fair to them, as far as I understand, they are basically moving. It's not that they're killing off the met. Okay, I guess this is the positive spin of it. They're not killing off the metaverse stuff that they want to do. They're just getting it out of Horizon, and they're trying to build it more on a system level. Is what like they're trying to build some of that in the OS, from what I understand. More
Why is that?
similar.
Why is that a positive though?
I just think Horizon was kind of already bloated. It was built like
They're removing it from that. You mean? Is
yeah,
that
they're
right? Right.
kind of making it more core to the operating system, which I don't know. I think that's better because they're basically making. I mean, we all know this. They're making Horizon OS more like Vision OS. Like the idea is that you can do multiple things at once, and you're all in your space, whether in your AR and VR, and everything's built in, including visiting people and doing stuff like that. I think it's very confusing right now for people, and there are people, of course, who like the Horizon stuff that are going to be sad, but I think over
Mm.
the long term, it actually makes sense what they're doing. Like I said, not many people really liked Horizon on Quest, but I'm actually kind of shocked they're still pursuing Horizon even for mobile. I just think it's just a sunken cost fallacy at this point, where they just want to have something to compete with Roblox. But yeah, they're still doing stuff that's like the social thing. They're just not having it in that app.
I found it all very strange anyway, and the way they pushed it was just so insanely aggressive. It was just like, whether you like it or not, you will know this thing exists, and there is no way that you can escape it.
Yeah,
And I didn't. I, did I hate it? At some points, I did hate it. There was a moment, I think, in maybe 2025 at some point where you went into your headset and you were literally, as soon as you went in, you were uh, shown all these like horrible thumbnails of all these worlds saying
yeah,
how many people were in them. And so, and I was just like, dude, I need to move this out the way to get to what I want to get to. And I think everyone experienced that. And I think that kind of probably helped its downfall, because,
yeah.
yeah, for
It
me
made more
personally.
people. It's like when Microsoft forced people to like a Connect with the Xbox One, right? It was like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
like literally the same thing. Where it's like, oh, we
yeah.
have this entire thing that we didn't really originally buy into this ecosystem to do at first, but you're forcing it on us anyway for in a way it was also kind of it wasn't a cost monetarily where you're like you had to pay more to have the Horizon stuff, but
No, that's
it was
right.
definitely affecting the experience and like the performance of things building all around it. But it is actually it's I see some people trying to downplay like, oh, like, okay, yes, first of all, they did not spend 80 billion or whatever on
90
her.
billion. It was on
Not yeah,
Verge,
yeah.
wasn't it? Was it Verge?
Yeah, Verge said something. A lot of people were saying like, "Oh, they spent 90 billion." They didn't spend 9 billion on it, but I will say they spent a ton of money on Horizon, like entirely. Like it's crazy. I remember the Oculus Connect 6. They had the entire announcement for it, the entire like a whole miniature model built for it. It was a big deal back then. 6 years of developing something like that at that scale, at that big of a company is quite expensive, and it's just crazy how fast they go from this is the main like you said, the main thing we're gonna put you all in to like see
It's just
crazy.
it's just bizarre. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not an entrepreneur or someone with like some sort of foresight, but like I could never see it working. I just, it had some cool elements, and it obviously does because some people really love it. But
It confuses people too when you switch your like Meta never we complain about this. We were joking about how we don't do that many. We haven't done that many shows this year, but we still talked about this before. It's like Meta just like even bringing it back after they said they're not gonna have it and like all that. It's just like you're confusing your consumers like crazy, man. No one's gonna know what's going on. Like it's I
I
don't
do
know.
wonder whether it's big. I mean, if like Verge and Forbes or whatever didn't necessarily report on it, and I think they only want to report on it because it affects the markets,
Yeah, yeah,
things like that. That's why they pay attention.
yeah.
Um, does anyone outside of who owns a Quest care what happens to the metaverse, apart from people
No,
enjoying the fact that it failed? Like, that's the only reason it makes a headline. If it had been successful, it might have made a headline, but I don't know. The fact it was going for years and no one spoke about it,
yeah,
apart from the people who either loved it or hated
yeah.
it.
It's not even just the new customers. I just think when you don't when you're just changing stuff so often for your current customers, that just makes people not want to stay.
Yeah.
It's like a mental friction thing. It's not even like a physical. It's just like I don't know. Like, why would I invest in something if I don't know it's going to be here tomorrow? And if they keep doing that over and over and over, I don't
Well,
know.
that's what I worry about with the VR
Yeah.
stuff because I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
genuinely feel like we're talking about the layoffs. What's gonna Zuckerberg could wake up one morning and go, "Do you know what? I'm done with this. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
move over to doing what I enjoy or what is working for us as a company," and then that's it. It could literally just stop, you know? Because it's not like they make money from it. They haven't made any money from this, as
No.
far as I know, in comparison to what they've spent. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it scares young developers who are just coming out of maybe they're still in college or coming out of college. I remember when they announced all the studio layoffs for Meta, like there were just so many people saying they're scared to be in VR anymore because they just don't there's no
Yeah.
stability. There's no sense of stability, right? So,
Yeah, 2 years ago, it would have been an absolutely different conversation. Everyone would have been like, "Yeah, this is the future. Meta are throwing money left, right, and center. The Quest 2 or whatever is a massive success." And now it's a very different time. And I don't know what's around the corner, personally. I don't.
it's always been niche. It's just again, we went it's just like okay, I'm going to say something that's like I don't think it's controversial, but even AI, like compared to how much money is being spent on AI, the amount of value it provides to normal everyday people is not nearly equal to the amount that companies are putting into it right now, at least, or maybe in five. Who knows? No one knows, right? It's just like that with XR. A few years ago, we had the Metaverse boom, but even during the biggest times where tons of money was being spent in it, the amount of people actually using these devices regularly and paying a lot of money, like it was not even close to the equation of what was being put into it monetarily. So I say VR, we're still we're
I've
still
said
so
this.
we're still so far, dude. Like, oh
I've said
man,
this. I said this. People talk about it dying, but I'm like, dude, it hasn't really
it
yet
hasn't really.
lived. Do you know what I mean? It hasn't reached its potential. Yeah. And that's why I'm so happy that regardless of how people feel about Steam Frame, there's someone out there who is actually believing in it and believes VR has got a future, to the point they're launching a brand new product. I mean, that's a
Yeah,
big statement for me, you know?
and I know a lot of people like to give Valve flack for being like, oh, they don't fund developers. They've been so slow with how they've updated Steam VR, but frankly, the way I see it, they've actually probably spent the perfect amount of money for them to invest in VR that has allowed them to stay in it organically and kind of equate to the amount of people that are in it and the amount of money that's kind of in the industry right now. So they're I can tell you they're full-time developers that are doing VR hardware and all this the drivers and stuff. It's probably less than 20 people at Valve. And they've just been working on this for since the index came out and they're releasing Steam Frame, but you know what? That's what allows them to exist for this long and keep investing in it because they probably are more long term, thinking this is going to take a while. They're not going
Yeah.
to save anything, but they're investing in it still. So I appreciate that side of it from them. That's how I like to
Yeah. I
put it.
mean, as far as I know, a lot of developers who needed kits got development kits.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just waiting for that date, man. It's just waiting for the date. I see. I've actually given up looking at the Steam Frame Reddit because it was just.
They're going crazy.
Well, and to be fair, I was as well. There was a point.
Yeah.
I think it was like February or something,
Right.
and it was like every day I was going on there, and people were like, "Are we getting this? Is this happening? This update happened. This has leaked. 3D printed controllers are out." My wife found these today, and they are actually spot on, from memory, which is crazy. But yeah, she found them like literally before we went live, and I was just like, "Yeah, I'm just happy. I'm happy. I'm happy that's happening because I don't know what the future of VR would look like without that. Because even though I think PSVR 2 is still doing really well, I'm not sure, apart from Microsoft Flight Simulator, what Sony are doing next with
Yeah.
VR. I don't think we're going to get a PS6 for a little bit longer if they're like announcing this new price hike
Yeah.
for their existing system. I don't think developers. I mean, I play games on PS5 Pro, dude, and they look insane. I play games on PC, they look insane. I'm like, how much better will it look?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure, and that's a conversation. So I think VR has still got a way to go sometimes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I think
for
that's a
sure.
really cool side of it. Yeah.
That's true. One thing I do want to say about Steam Frame that like I didn't tell you beforehand, but it's because it literally came out
What?
last night.
What?
They released a it's called the Open VR SDK, but it's really just the Steam VR SDK. and that's where either people that are making not really games anymore because they tell people to target OpenXR, but people who are making headsets or stuff like that who need to build a driver that connects to SteamVR, that's where they release a lot of the new systems and stuff for that. And I've been pretty surprised because they've actually been putting more work into that than I expected leading up to Steam Frame. And last night they announced a few, or not, they released a few new things that now headsets and games will be able to receive data from eye tracking for foveation. So this actually can, again, it doesn't provide the eye track foveation system, but it provides the data from headsets and probably the Steam frame as well to report the eye location in for the current frame and next frame of where it'll be, so they can do foveated rendering in games a lot easier. And that doesn't, again, just affect Steam frame. It's anyone who puts eye tracking in their headset
Yeah.
and builds a SteamVR driver. I like the way they do that. That's awesome.
That's the
Also,
crazy thing about PSVR 2, man, like, that headset launch of eye tracking is a blessing on PC.
yeah,
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 eye tracking's so important.
yeah.
Another thing that they didn't just apply that for foveation, they can also there's tools in the drivers now where you can use eye tracking data for input, just like Vision Pro. So that's freaking cool. I got really excited seeing that. One other thing that is not completely certain what it's for, but this is the first time for SteamVR, is they can report motion vectors from apps to the SteamVR system. And the only thing that I could speculate, big word speculate, that they might be using that for is motion vectors is actually how Meta's application space warp technology works. They take the motion vector and they can accurately reproject more. So maybe they are working on a app space work type thing internally at Valve. Who knows? Because I don't know what else they would use those motion vector things for. So just a few cool things that came out last night and neat.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Well, I think that's another episode in the bag. We've covered
Yippee!
a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I just want to say thank you to everyone who watches the show. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to the channel. Thanks to everyone who follows us on Spotify, because I think we've now got over 600 followers on
nice.
Spotify for this show, which is pretty cool. Um, and yeah, I guess now it's a good time to say goodbye to everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
Take care. Bye.